Good times. Welcome everyone to our daily success call. John Lavenia back here with you. Happy Halloween. Happy All Saints or All Souls Day. Which one is it? All Saints or Souls? Saints.
Tomorrow
Okay.
Souls.
Souls is tomorrow. Okay, got it. Got it. Welcome. It's November. How about that, Missy? That just happened. It is November. Good to see you all. Good to be back from my little trip. How did Karen treat you guys late last week? Karen, good?
Wonderful.
Yeah, she's
great.
nice. Right?
It was
Good
magic.
stuff. I just got back from, does anybody know where I was over the weekend?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. Have you ever been there?
No.
I want to go.
They
Yeah,
won't let me
I
in
went.
there.
I'll tell you what, it was beautiful. Went to Sioux Falls, which I've never been to before. Never been to South Dakota at all. But this is all the way to the east, of South Dakota, and on the Sioux River. Beautiful little city. Apparently the biggest city in South Dakota. It was like a little town, and squeaky clean. Had some good food. Saw Dude Perfect. This was like a birthday trip for my daughter. Anybody know what Dude Perfect is? No.
No.
Okay. Well, check it out. They got 56 million followers on YouTube.
Whoa.
56 million. It's five guys. They met. They're all good friends. They met at a Christian college they were going to in Texas, and they decided to do they started doing YouTube videos 12 years ago, just doing like trick shots with basketballs and like silly stunts, kind of like Jackass, but clean. Not family friendly. And it's grown now to millions and millions of fans. And they went on tour. They were going to go on tour last year, but then COVID, right? So now, here's the big first ever Dude Perfect tour. And we were there. We had VIP tickets. We met the dudes and the kids were going crazy. And I thought, my goodness, there's a market for everything, right? Here's some guys just running around, like riding tricycles and shooting basketballs and doing silly stunts. And the kids are going nuts over it. I calculated just based on the 10,000 people in that stadium, that's about $2 million worth of tickets. $2 million worth of tickets, plus t-shirts, hats, everything else, right? So why do I bring this up for you? Because it is November, my friends. And if there was ever a time to think big, it is now. I just got a lesson in thinking big. Here are these guys that, a couple $1 million in a night. Now, that wasn't all their money. They got staffs of people and trucks and stadiums to rent and everything else. But my goodness, how many of us are playing a big enough game worthy of us, right? Yeah, I won't put my hand up either, right? I'm looking at myself. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've been playing small, right? And I'm looking at our goals for this year. Hopefully each of us have goals, right? And we've got 2 months left to demonstrate that which we shall accomplish in 2021. Not that I worship the calendar or anything, but it is instructive, right? When we look, we say, oh, it's November 1st. Well, time to make haste. So then the question is, what are we putting our attention on? Because we only get so much of it, right? We all got the same 24 hours a day and all this. But what are we doing now that is going to ensure, and dare I say, enforce a powerful 2021? When we ended last year, 2020, which this community didn't exist at the end of 2020. But when a lot of you ended last year, I would imagine you had the idea that, thank goodness 2020 is over. I heard that a lot because 2020 was rough for a lot of people. My stats were way up, right? Because I've been doing online business a long time. But for a lot of people, you ended 2020 thinking, I got to do something different in 2021. And right there, that's instructive, because if you had that thought, that means that you were taking responsibility for your future. Okay. Whereas a lot of other people who I would argue are not in this community said, I hope 2021 is better. So that's not as causative, right? That's kind of like, well, 2020 happened to me. 2021 is going to happen to me. And hopefully it's better. What the hell is that? What does that even mean? Like, where do you come in to the picture with all that? Are you just bouncing on the waves like a ball, not knowing where you're going to bounce next or something? I hope not, right? So that is where, this community and everything that we talk about here, which I just got a reminder today about the power of this, but I'll digress in just a moment. But that's where you come in powerfully and with decisiveness. So what allows us to do that? I'm thinking the methods that we've got here are good and sound methods, right? Rachel has certainly demonstrated that. We're not betting on somebody's experiment here. These methods work, okay, to whatever degree you employ them. And there's a bit of a gradient that you got to climb up to, get to the top of the mountain and have, more reach into the marketplace and have more of an effect, right? For you to be more effective. But what is it that drives all that? And this is the reminder that I got earlier today. I got to meet with some of our brand new members. Welcome to you guys. We had a small welcome session today. It was 6 or 7 people. Sometimes often it's 15 people maxed out the session and all that. But got to meet 6 or 7 of my new closest friends. And one of them mentioned that, John, one of the books that you recommended, this T. Harv Eker book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Some of you have read that here in this group, right? Hopefully you have. I recommended it to you. It's one of the 5 books that I first recommend when we first met. And the reason I recommend these 5 books is because they will, in a very easy to digest way, they will address some of the most important stuff that it takes for you to be able to apply these methods. The methods exist, okay, but who's applying them? Hopefully somebody, who's got some sound decision making and some good direction, that where you're going in your life. That's super important. And what this gentleman said to me was, I've been exposed to books like that before. I just haven't done it. So for me, that is, we could say, oh, that's being very vulnerable, right? To say something like that, to admit that in public. Well, I think it's actually very strong to admit that in public, right? We could call it vulnerable or whatever, but the fact is that there are things that I know I could be doing that I haven't done. Well, we can't solve a problem unless we confront the problem. And if I've been the problem, if it's been that I know what to do, but I haven't done it, well, where's my integrity? Back to like title of my first book, integrity is everything. Every time that I have, had integrity to what? To my own vision, to where I'm going and what I want to accomplish. Success, statistics going up, nice, right? And whenever I've been out of integrity, right? Well, down go the stats. It's not mysterious, but here's the thing that I've had to have integrity to more than anything is my own personal development. The late Jim Rohn said, you work twice as hard on your business as you do on yourself. Or no, you work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business, the other way around. Okay. So here's a guy who, had many listeners, right? He had a big audience. He had been in public speaking a long time. That was his main gig, right? And he had people from all different business backgrounds, right? Here's Bob, the insurance guy. Here's, Sally, the network marketer. Here's Missy, the coffee cup lady, right? And so, here are all these people, which he doesn't know the methods, right? So the methods of insurance are different than the coffee cup thing, right? But I know who's doing it. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we know who's doing it. You damn well better know who's doing it. Is it a person who is predetermined and predestined for success because of what they tell themselves about themselves all day long? That would be good. Okay, one of the books I didn't recommend at the outset because it's a much more deep and requires a lot of like study and attention on it is a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Definitely put it on your reading list. In fact, if you feel like you're ready for that now, some of you have read it or danced around a little bit, like the other guy who was saying, he had been exposed to the T. Harv Eker stuff, but never quite, put it to use. Well, if you feel like you're ready for this, and how do you know? I don't know. Maybe you're just inspired by what I'm saying, because I'll tell you what, this book has had a great effect on me. But in that book, Napoleon Hill enumerates and elucidates 13 principles that the most successful people of the industrial age had employed. This is Napoleon Hill studied these guys, lived with them for like 20 years. Guys like Henry Ford, William Wrigley, Charles Schwab, Tom Edison, these guys, right? Not to mention his own mentor, Andrew Carnegie, who set him up with all the meetings and go meet Henry Ford over there and do that, right? But he noticed that there were 13 things that that we could say, the common man could go ahead and use to pull himself up by his bootstraps and Stop Living in Fear. That book came out during the tail end of the Great Depression. And the conditions at that time, if you could say the chronic state of society, the chronic emotional state, I would say would be fear, right? Which if we look deeper into that, we could say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it, therefore I'm afraid. Does that seem like where a lot of people are at right now? So you see history, right? This is pretty instructive. So anyway, Carnegie said, well, go, create something for the common man here to, stop being so pathetic and whatever. And so Think and Grow Rich was published. And in that book, there's these 13 principles, but there's one that stands above all the rest. And for those of you who've read the book and like really studied it, not just glanced over it and then forgot what you read, okay, which I've done several times, which is why I've read that book cover to cover, every single word with a dictionary right next to me 13 times so far to make sure I get the full conceptual understanding of every single word that the guy is saying in the book. Original text, by the way, not this abridged for the mass public morons or whatever. No, the original text. That's the one you read. And anyway, he said that this one principle is the keystone in the arch of the entire Think and Grow Rich philosophy. All other principles serve this one. And the principle he was talking about was autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is what we tell ourselves about ourselves all day long, whether we know it or not. So if that's the keystone, right? If everything else is there to serve that, okay? And he had great principles in there, like, decision, right? That's freaking huge, right? Persistence. He said Henry Ford, if he had nothing else, he had persistence, right? The idea of desire, right? Being an actual principle, right? That nothing happens unless you desire it. And all the other organized planning, right? Faith. In fact, he said autosuggestion is the only known way to induce faith. Okay. Now, they're kind of like persistence and everything that we are doing here as we continue to apply whatever methods we're applying, we have to apply them persistently. It's not about luck. We apply them persistently, but you won't unless you've developed some faith that you can actually accomplish something, right? Why would you persist unless you knew that you could do something, right? So that's where faith comes in. But what is the only one method to induce faith? Autosuggestion. It's our own internal, innermost beliefs about ourselves and what we're capable of. Back to the whole idea of Jim Rohn, working twice as hard on yourself as you do on whatever business methods you're employing. You'll all get the methods, right? I know some of us are very, very new here, right? Oh, Etsy, Gear Bubble, technology, right? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're going to get the methods. It's all going to work out, right? It's the same technology for everybody. There's nothing personal about that. Here's what's personal about that is how you show up in the marketplace via this technology or that technology or these or those methods. Who is showing up in the marketplace and how are you perceived by the audience, the ideal target, public, the buying public, right? How are you perceived as that? I could tell you that back to the example that I just got this past weekend in South Dakota, these dudes, right? The Dude Perfect gang, they are perceived as, fun for the whole family and doing feats of, antics and things like that. But the emotional state of it is fun, right? The enjoyment. The kids were going crazy over it. And for me, it was instructive because what did people actually buy? There's for every acting troupe or stunt guys or whatever that made it big, there's probably 10,000 that didn't. I can also look at in the music world, right? Why Elton John? Why? Right? Other people can play the piano, sing a tune, right? Why? Right? Well, there was a whole lot that happened behind the scenes, right? Here's the talent that you get to buy the record or whatever and hear them on stage. But here's the entire staff of people and marketing and staging and holy crap, what an operation. Okay. But they scaled up into that. Okay. But it didn't happen without intent, right? This didn't happen by accident. 2021 didn't happen to them. In other words, they made it happen easily. Probably not, right? But there's the chain of persistence, faith, and autosuggestion. I heard there was a quote from Cary Grant going back a few years now. Cary Grant said, I just acted like Cary Grant for so long that I became him. Okay, autosuggestion. Who is this Cary Grant guy? In fact, who was he? He was like a dancer and actor or something. Or am I thinking of Fred Astaire? Who was Cary Grant? A little bit before my time. Sure, some of you might know, but it was a showman, right? He was talented, or whatever he did, right? He entertained people. So, can you say that about yourself? Here's what I want to offer you all today. It's November 1st, All Saints Day. Okay, what qualifies, for a saint? I don't know, but can you be your own inner directed, saintly, on purpose, high achiever? Can you tell yourself who you are right now? Because what an auspicious day, right? It's November 1st. And today is the day where you've decided that you are whatever you say you are. And you just remind yourself of that again and again and again. This is auto suggestion. Maybe you can put up some reminders. Maybe you can make a little dream board, hang some pictures or something, right? See yourself having already accomplished whatever this vision is that you have for yourself. And you damn well better have a vision, because Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? So where are we going here? You need to know. And now that you know, now the rest of the world can know. But if you don't know, then nobody else has even a shot at knowing. I don't know. Who the hell are you, right? You got to decide that. You got to decide that, right? So can we do that today, right? And again, I'm just picking November 1st because it's, I don't know, we could pick any day, right? I don't care what the calendar says, but let's work with what we got. Sell what you got, right? Oh, I got November 1st. Okay, great. Let's assign this as the day where we click the reset button and we decided who we are, and we just started being that and reminding ourselves of that over and over and over again, so that we can accomplish this next 60 days, minus some holidays here and there, right? But we can accomplish this next 60-day block of time and say, I did it. Why? Because I decided to do it. And why? Because I decided who I was, who was showing up to do this project, to put these stats on the board. I decided that I am cause. Therefore, I am effective. Cause and effect, right? I'm here to be effective. All of it. All of you here. You wouldn't be showing up at this conversation unless you had the intention to have some sort of an effect. Well, what effect is that? Well, let's define it, right? Back to the idea of being definite. It's another thing that Napoleon Hill talked about, definiteness of decision, right? So have we defined, or is it kind of mushy and vague? No, vague doesn't get it done. Definiteness, right? And then we back that up with organized planning, with right action, with methods. Okay, but who's doing it? That's the main thing. And look, for those of you who've been hanging around here with me for a couple of months, this isn't a new topic or anything, right? I mean, we just keep coming back to it again and again and again. Ralph Emerson called it the law of laws, cause and effect. Everything we've ever talked about in these sessions comes back to that. There's only one topic. That's it, cause and effect. And then we can dress it up and we can attack it from 10 million different angles, and hopefully something will get in, something of use, right? Whatever combination of words turn the light bulbs on. But I think for myself, if I could just remember how I am cause throughout my day, and I forget all the time. Okay, all the time I forget. But if I just remember that I am choosing each and every moment of my life, how I'm going to respond, what I'm going to cause, what effect I want to have. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I'm distracted. Oh, this, oh, that. Wow. If I could just think about this, everyone, if you could just remember how friggin' powerful you are every moment of every day. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's this guy that did the fish and loaves thing. I haven't done that. That's up there. I'm not there. Right. So I guess we could take this to very lofty extremes. But as far as you making a 6-figure income or something in your e-commerce business, my goodness, there's millions of dollars that shall be earned today. Shall be, not might be, shall be earned today on the interwebs. Proceed. Or not, right? Your choice. Okay. But I would offer you that you're more able than you give yourself credit for. You just got to start telling yourself that and remember it. Stop forgetting it. Remember it. That's all I got to say today. I love you guys. Glad to be back. I'm busy as hell. I'm getting back. I got 4 businesses running. It's total friggin' madhouse around here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Hopefully this occurred to you as more than just a little pep talk. Hopefully you've got some food for action here, something you can do, right? Do with this. Missy, and then Denise. Hey, Missy, come on out, my friend.
Um, I would say that whether we are being deliberate or not, if we're not being deliberate, it's being chosen for us what happens to us. And so you better be deliberate. And there's just, I'm expecting an avalanche to come my way. I can feel it inside of me because I am being deliberate. And I don't need to see at this moment all the cash in my hands to know that that's going to happen. And there's a line that Neville Goddard spoke. He said, this is not a mechanistic world. Our senses fool us. We think that see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We think a couch is just a bunch of molecules. He said, this is an imaginal world. And everything is created and happens through the imagination. So if you use it deliberately and your dominant thoughts are success, it's science. You cannot fail, because you can only fail if you stop doing it and give up. So that's basically all I wanted to say. And I've only made 40 sales, but I'm seeing 4,000 and 40,000 because I just ordered the 10 times book that your friend wrote, and I'm going to get that. It's the methods that are holding me back a little bit, and the SEO and all that stuff. But it's going to come because I know it's going to come. So that's what my big mouth had to say for today.
Awesome. Thank you, Missy. And once you've got the methods, yes, you can scale them up. You're mentioning Grant Cardone's book, the 10X. That's basically it. It's just thinking and playing a bigger game, right? Actually expecting more and therefore executing more. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Missy. Let's hear from my friend from St. George, Utah. Hey, Denise Jensen, how are you?
Hi. Hi. John, you are just amazing. Every time I hear you.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. I love what you said. Click the reset button and decide now who I am, who is showing up. Okay, so I'm not trying to complain and woe is me or anything like that, but I'm in the hospital right now. I've been in the hospital for 2 weeks with COVID. I've had it very, very serious. I think that I'm finally getting better. I may be released to go home tomorrow. I hope so. But I've been through hell. It's not a fun thing to have. I hope no one here has had COVID because it has been the most painful, most debilitating. I have serious autoimmune disorders, and nothing that I have been through is like this, like COVID. I mean, some people get it and they just get it mildly. Not me. I didn't get it. My husband, he sailed through it like 2 days and he was better, but not me. And so, yeah, I have been sitting in the hospital for 2 weeks, barely able to do anything at all, and feeling like a failure, John, feeling like a failure. Because things just keep happening in my life. But every time I pick myself back up and kick myself in the butt and say, go, get going. And I love, John, click the reset button. That is what I am going to do as soon as I am out of here. And today is really the only day that I've ever that I've had enough strength to even turn my computer on. And so, but I am going to click the reset button and I'm going to show up, because that's me. That's who I am. I get back up and do it again. And I love what is it you said about faith? Autosuggestion is the only way to what, Faith?
According to Napoleon Hill, the only known method to induce faith is autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion. Yeah. And I did. I read that whole book once. And you're right. It needs to be read over and over and over again in order to really understand all the concepts in it. But anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry. But thank you so much for everything that you always have to say, because you're very inspiring. And I am going to stop feeling sorry for myself.
Beautiful.
And get my butt in gear and get going, because it's November 1st. We only have 2 months.
There you go. Great reason to get going, because it's November
Yeah.
1st, right? Insert
Right.
reason here. All right, November 1st. That's a good reason. As good as any, right? And Denise, when Hill was talking about autosuggestion and faith, he was talking about faith in one's own ability to accomplish, your purposes and like to reach goals and stuff. He wasn't talking about like a religious faith. And
Right.
so, right, which we could say is, well, that just exists there, and not to
Right.
go too far down that rabbit hole, but it's really about, who's showing up.
Right.
So I was listening to a lecture this morning while I was in the gym, from another guy who does like prosperity talks and stuff, from back in the 80s. And he was talking about, I'm going to paraphrase here, but God or the supreme, the universe, right, does not, answer or give you what you want by means of your plea. In other words, it's not, there's no respect for, how you ask or something like that, or the quality of your well, I think Denise is good, so let's send her Lamborghinis and what was that other car you're interested in, the Karma.
The
So
Karma.
I like how Denise prays. So let's send her, cars and everything else. But this John guy over here, he doesn't pray so good. So it's not by means of that you receive, but by
Right.
working with the law. Okay. So here's the source of all supply, and then you're working with the law to arrange those receiving pipelines. Anyway, I think, well, Denise, you and I have gotten to know each other a bit, and I think if there's anyone who can demonstrate, success, and whatever the methods are, but these methods are quite, sufficient. You get my vote. You're awesome. And I could say that about a lot of the people here. I'm just singling Denise out right now because I think she could use a little extra love because she's in the
Thanks, John.
hospital. Okay.
Yeah,
So yay, Denise, you're awesome. And just know that you are, right? And then
Thank you,
arrange those
John.
receiving pipelines.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else? Anybody else today? Any other thoughts on this? All right. Going once, going twice. We shall get on with it then. It is November 1st for a few more hours. Let's get it done. I'm going to be back here with you on Wednesday. Karen's going to be here with you tomorrow. I am meeting with 5 of you today on our business launch private session. So I'll see you there. Definitely, make it happen, my friends. If not now, then